All right, let's talk about something incredible. A powerful system that's already inside you. A system you can actually learn to control. Today, we're going to show you how to hack your body's own anxiety switch. You feel your heart racing, your palms get clammy, it feels like a heart attack. Sound familiar? I mean, that feeling of panic, it's something so many of us have gone through. It's like this physiological tidal wave that just washes over you, totally overwhelming. Kind of like a runaway train with no brakes in sight. But what if? What if your body had a built-in off switch for that exact feeling? What if I told you that you have direct access to your body's own calming system? A way for you to manually hit the brakes when things feel like they're spiraling? Well, guess what? You do. And today, we're going to show you exactly where to find it. Okay, so to find that switch, we first have to get a handle on the basic wiring of our nervous system. The easiest way to think about it is like your body's internal fire alarm, and it has two very different settings. So your autonomic nervous system, it's got two main branches. On one side, you've got the sympathetic system. That's your gas pedal. It's that classic fight or flight response that just floods you with energy when you need to face a threat. But on the other side, you have the parasympathetic system, and that's your brake pedal. Its job is to rest and digest, to calm you down and bring everything back into balance. So here's the key thing to understand. When anxiety hits, when you have a panic attack, it's basically your sympathetic system, your gas pedal, being slammed all the way to the floor. Your body genuinely thinks it's in mortal danger, and it just unleashes this massive flood of adrenaline. And that's what pushes you out of your optimal zone. You know, that sweet spot where you feel capable and in control. So to get back into that zone, we need to meet the commander of the brake pedal. Right, so if the gas pedal is the problem, then the brake pedal is the solution. And it turns out that whole calming system has a commander-in-chief, a kind of hidden controller that holds the key to bringing you back to a state of calm. And that controller is your vagus nerve. This is the main player in your parasympathetic system. Its name actually comes from the Latin word for wandering, which is just perfect because that's exactly what it does. It literally wanders all the way from your brainstem, down through your neck, and deep into your chest and abdomen, connecting to pretty much all of your major organs along the way. You see, the vagus nerve is the primary pathway for hitting those brakes. When you stimulate it, you're sending a direct message to your brain and your body saying, hey, the threat is over. It's safe to stand down. It's time to relax. It's basically the physiological all-clear signal. Now, the reach of this wandering nerve is pretty incredible, but one of its most important jobs is the communication line it sets up between your brain and your gut. And we're not just talking metaphorically here. The vagus nerve creates a literal two-way information superhighway. And get this is a wild fact. Something like 80 to 90% of the nerve fibers in the vagus nerve are actually dedicated to communicating from your organs, especially your gut, back up to your brain. So most of the time, your brain is just listening to what your body has to say. So why does that matter? Well, because your gut is basically a chemical factory. It's home to trillions of tiny microorganisms that are busy producing mood-altering chemicals, like serotonin. The vagus nerve acts like a high-speed data cable, just shooting all of that information straight to your brain. You know that gut feeling people talk about? Yeah, that has a very real biological basis, and it is powerfully influencing how you see and feel the world around you. Okay. So if we can activate this nerve, we can basically flip the switch on our body's relaxation response. And the best part? It's surprisingly easy to do. Let's walk through 4 simple hacks you can start using right away. All right, let's start with the most dramatic one first. What if I told you there's a biological panic button, a reflex that's so primal, so powerful, it can literally short-circuit an anxiety attack in seconds? I'm not kidding, it's hardwired into every single mammal, including you. Yep, that's it. All you have to do is submerge your face, especially the area around your eyes and nose, into some really cold water while you hold your breath. This triggers an immediate, super powerful response from your vagus nerve. Your body instantly thinks it's diving deep underwater and slams on the brakes on your heart rate to save oxygen. It's a total biological override that can stop a panic attack dead in its tracks. Now, if dunking your face in ice water isn't exactly practical at the moment, don't worry, there's another tool that's probably the most reliable and accessible one you have, and that's your own breath. This kind of slow, deep belly breathing, and here's the trick, you make your exhale longer than your inhale. This directly stimulates the vagus nerve. The gentle up and down movement of your diaphragm actually gives the nerve a little massage, sending these nice, calming signals up to your brain with every single breath you take. And there are other quick activators too, things you might not even think of, like humming, or gargling, or even just singing out loud. The vibrations in your throat physically stimulate the vagus nerve endings right there. And yeah, even just splashing cold water on your face can give you a milder version of that dive reflex. The real key here is to just find what works for you. Okay, so these hacks are fantastic for in-the-moment relief, for sure. But the real goal, the long-term play, is to use them to build resilience, so you don't get knocked off balance so easily in the first place. And to really get this, let's go back to that optimal zone we mentioned earlier. There's a concept for this. It's called the window of tolerance. And really, it's just that ideal emotional state where you feel grounded, you feel present, and you can handle whatever life decides to throw at you. See, when we get pushed outside of that window, we tend to go one of two ways. We can shoot up into hyperarousal, that's the fight or flight panic state we've been talking about, or we can drop down into hypoarousal, which is when we shut down, feel kind of numb, and just withdraw from everything. Now here's the thing, chronic stress or past trauma can actually shrink that window of tolerance. And when your window is smaller, it's way easier to get bumped into a state of panic or shutdown by just everyday stuff. You just become more reactive because your optimal zone, your comfort zone, has gotten smaller. And this might be the most important takeaway of all. Every single time you practice these exercises, the deep breathing, the cold water, the humming, you are literally strengthening your vagus nerve. This is what's called improving your vagal tone. Think of it like going to the gym, but for your nervous system. And over time, this workout strengthens your body's ability to relax on its own and actually widens your window of tolerance. It makes you fundamentally more resilient. So you see, this isn't just about surviving a panic attack. It's about training your body to find its own calm. You have direct physical control over your body's stress response. You really do. So the only question left is, what's the first small step you can take today to start using that power?
All right, quick reset. Blink twice, stretch your shoulders, and don't worry, your health lesson isn't over yet. We're switching gears now, but this next topic is just as important for your body. And if you care about staying healthy the smart way, make sure you're subscribed.
Ever feel like you're just fighting your own body? Like you're always tired, you're always feeling cold, and no matter what you do, you just can't seem to lose weight? Well, we're about to dig into a mystery that might explain exactly why, and all the clues are hidden deep inside your metabolism. You know that feeling? That deep down fatigue, even after a full night's sleep? Or how about feeling cold all the time when everyone else seems perfectly comfortable? And that brain fog, that frustrating feeling where you just can't think clearly? These aren't just random annoyances, they're actually clues, and they all point toward one central system, your metabolism. So what is metabolism anyway? The easiest way to think about it is like your body's own personal power plant. It's working 24/7 to turn food into energy. Now the biggest part of that job, a whopping 60%, is your basal metabolic rate. That's just the energy it takes to keep the lights on. You know, breathing, circulating blood, even while you're fast asleep. The rest of your energy goes toward your physical activity, and get this, a little chunk is used just to digest the food you eat.
Okay, so first let's pop the hood and take a closer look at our body's metabolism engine.
It turns out this whole complex system isn't just running on its own. Nope, there's a command center, a single master control gland that's pulling the strings and setting the pace for everything.
So who's the one in charge? Well, let's meet the main character in our story, the small but incredibly powerful thyroid gland. The best analogy for the thyroid is to think of it as your body's master thermostat. It's this little butterfly-shaped gland right in your neck, and its whole job is to send out hormones that tell every single cell in your body how fast or how slow to burn energy. It literally sets the speed of your metabolism. So how does it know what to do? Well, it's a pretty clear chain of command. It all starts in your brain, which sends a signal to your pituitary gland. The pituitary then sends out something called thyroid-stimulating hormone, or TSH for short. That TSH travels down to your thyroid and basically says, okay, time to get to work, which then tells the thyroid to produce its key hormones, T4 and T3. Now, your thyroid makes a lot of both T4 and T3, but T3 is the real rock star here. You can think of T4 as the storage form. It's just hanging around waiting. But T3 is the active, powerful hormone. It's the one that actually goes to your cells, unlocks the door, and gives them the direct order on how much energy they need to burn right now.
But just like any engine, this master thermostat can't run on empty. It needs the right kind of fuel. So what exactly does the thyroid need to do its job properly?
It really boils down to three key ingredients: These are the non-negotiables. For your thyroid to make its hormones, it absolutely must have iodine, an amino acid called L-tyrosine, and the mineral selenium. Without these, the whole production line grinds to a halt.
The actual recipe is pretty straightforward. Your thyroid gland takes iodine atoms and attaches them to that L-tyrosine amino acid. And that's it. That simple combination creates the basic building blocks for both T4 and T3 hormones. If you're short on either one, you just can't make what you need.
But there's a third crucial player that makes the magic happen: selenium. You can think of it as the catalyst or the spark plug. It's what allows the enzymes to do their job, especially when it comes to converting that storage hormone T4 into the active, usable T3. Without enough selenium, that final, crucial step can't happen efficiently.
All right, this is where our investigation takes a really fascinating twist. Because it turns out that in our modern quest to be healthy, sometimes our best intentions can backfire big time.
I'm sure you've heard this piece of advice, right? If you need selenium, eat Brazil nuts. They are, by a long shot, the most concentrated natural source of this mineral you can find, and they're often hailed as a superfood for your thyroid.
But check this out. This is where it gets crazy. This chart shows what happened to people's blood levels of selenium after eating just one Brazil nut a day. Look at the bar on the left. That's the before level, totally healthy at 96.7. Now look at the after bar. Whoa! It shoots up to almost 300. To put that in perspective, the safe upper limit is usually around 190, so a single nut a day doesn't just top you off, it can send you way over the line.
So that common advice you hear to eat a couple of Brazil nuts every day, it could easily be pushing you into selenium toxicity territory, especially if you do it long term. This is a perfect example where more is definitely not better.
And then you've got the other side of this paradox. A lot of us are moving toward cleaner eating, right? We're cutting out processed foods, which is fantastic. But an unintended side effect is that we're also cutting out iodized table salt, which for decades has been the #1 source of iodine in our diet. So we can actually end up starving our thyroid of its most important fuel.
And this right here really shows the tightrope we're walking. On one hand, you have a so-called superfood like Brazil nuts that can easily give you way too much of one nutrient. And on the other hand, a healthy diet change can accidentally create a major deficiency in another. It's an incredibly delicate balance.
But the mystery isn't quite solved yet. There's one final twist in this story, and it's one that might just change how you think about metabolism altogether.
Let's dive into this really interesting long-term study. Researchers took two groups of healthy people. One group ate a typical Western diet, and the other group practiced long-term calorie restriction, eating less, but still making sure they got all the essential vitamins and nutrients. And here's the core finding. The group on the normal diet had levels of that active T3 hormone, the gas pedal for your metabolism, hovering around 91 to 94. But look at the calorie-restricted group. Their T3 levels were consistently lower, down around 74. In other words, their body's thermostat was deliberately turned down a few notches.
So what on earth could that mean?
Well, the researchers themselves proposed a pretty mind-blowing idea, and I'm quoting directly from the study here. A reduction in T3 hormone may increase lifespan by conserving energy and reducing free radical production. Put simply, a slower, more efficient metabolism might actually be one of the keys to aging more slowly.
Which leaves us with one final, really big question. We are constantly told to boost our metabolism, to make it run faster, run hotter. But what if the real goal for a long, healthy life isn't a roaring bonfire, but actually a slow, steady, efficient burn? It seems the metabolism mystery is a lot more complicated than we ever imagined.
All right, quick reset. Blink twice, stretch your shoulders, and don't worry, your health lesson isn't over yet. We're switching gears now, but this next topic is just as important for your body. And if you care about staying healthy the smart way, make sure you're subscribed.
Okay, so what if I told you that your body, right this second, is probably fighting off microscopic cancers and you don't even know it? I know, it sounds a little like science fiction, right? But it's this constant hidden battle that's happening inside of us all the time. Today, we're going to explore the incredible science behind how our bodies keep these tiny threats in check, and most importantly, the powerful role our food might play in that defense.
All right, let's get right into it with some statistics that are honestly pretty startling. For decades, scientists have been looking at autopsy studies. These are from people who passed away from totally unrelated causes, and they've stumbled upon this hidden biological truth that really changes the way we think about cancer. So get this, the studies found that about 40% of women between the ages of 40 and 50 have these tiny microscopic tumors in their breast tissue. We're talking super small, undeveloped, and at this stage, totally harmless.
And it's a really similar story for men. Almost half, 50%, of men between 50 and 60 years old, they're found to have the same kind of tiny, harmless cancerous growths, but in their prostate glands. Okay, but this next one, this is the one that's truly incredible. For people over 70, that number skyrockets to nearly 100%. Basically, everyone over a certain age has these microscopic cancers in their thyroids.
So this all leads to a really crucial question, doesn't it? I mean, if these tiny little cancers are pretty much an unavoidable part of getting older, what's stopping them from blowing up into a real threat? What's our body's secret weapon here?
Well, the answer is all about this fascinating biological process our bodies use to control growth. The best way to think about it is like a light switch. A switch that can either turn a harmless little group of cells into a dangerous tumor or keep it completely locked down. So first, there's a key term we've got to understand. It's called angiogenesis. All it means is the body's natural process for building new blood vessels. It's something we absolutely need for things like healing a cut, you know? But it can also be hijacked by cancer. See, here's the thing. These microscopic tumors are basically stranded. They're on their own little island. They can't grow any bigger than the tip of a ballpoint pen because they have no access to the good stuff, the oxygen and nutrients that's all flowing through our blood. So they're effectively starved, just kept in this harmless, dormant state. But, and this is the crucial part, if a tumor figures out how to send out these little chemical signals that trick the body into building new blood vessels directly to it, bam, that's what flips the angiogenic switch. And once it has that new supply line, that tumor gets all the fuel it needs to grow like crazy and, potentially spread.
Okay, so here's where things get really interesting. This exact idea, this whole concept, it became a totally revolutionary pillar of modern medicine. Scientists had this huge light bulb moment where they realized, wait a minute, if we can control this switch, we can control the cancer.
And this idea wasn't new. It was bubbling up as early as 1939. But the big breakthrough came in 1971. A doctor named Judah Folkman officially proposed this idea. What if you could stop new blood vessels from ever reaching the tumor? You could essentially starve it. Now, it took decades of hard work and research, but finally, in 2004, the very first drug based on this idea was approved by the FDA. And here's the main takeaway from all that. This isn't some fringe theory, not at all. Attacking a cancer's blood supply is a scientifically proven, mainstream strategy. It's used today to fight more than 25 different types of cancer. The bottom line, it works. So that brings us to a really exciting new question, a new frontier in research. We know medicine can block this switch with powerful drugs, but what about us? Can our body's own natural defense systems, maybe with a little help from our diet, do the same thing? And this is exactly where pioneers like Dr. William Li come into the picture. Researchers are now digging in and seriously investigating how compounds in the foods we eat every day might naturally help our bodies regulate this whole process. Help keep that angiogenic switch flipped firmly to off. So you can see how this actually works. Let's look at a real-world example from a study back in 2008. Scientists decided to take a really close look at something called grape seed extract, or GSE for short, to see if it could have any effect on this whole blood vessel building process. And what they found was pretty fascinating. In the lab, the extract did two things. First, it slowed down the growth of new blood vessel cells. But second, and this is really cool, it directly blocked a key signal, a protein called VEGR, which is basically the signal tumors use to scream, "Hey, over here, build me a blood supply." So, in simple terms, what's the big takeaway? A compound found in nature was shown to directly mess with that angiogenic switch, right down at the molecular level. It's like it just cut the communication line the tumor was using to order its fuel delivery. But look, this isn't about finding one single miracle food that solves everything. It never is, right? It's really about a much more powerful idea, how different foods can work together like a team to support our health. Experts have a cool name for this. They call it food synergy. It's basically the idea that sometimes 1 + 1 = 3. The benefit you get from eating two foods together is way bigger than eating them separately. One food can literally help your body unlock the hidden power inside another. And here are some perfect classic examples.
Think about tomatoes and olive oil. The healthy fat in the oil helps your body grab onto all that lycopene, which is a super powerful antioxidant in the tomatoes. Or what about spinach with a squeeze of lemon? The vitamin C in the lemon juice boosts how much iron your body can absorb from the spinach. And my favorite, turmeric and black pepper. A little bit of pepper helps your body absorb the amazing anti-inflammatory stuff in turmeric by a huge amount. These aren't just combinations that taste good, they're ancient food pairings that science is now showing us are just biochemically brilliant. And this is probably the most important message to take away from all of this. It's about partnership. It's not an either-or situation. This is not about choosing food instead of medicine. Absolutely not. It's about seeing that a smart diet can be an incredible tool to support your body's own natural defenses, working hand in hand with standard medical treatments. So what if one of our most powerful defenses is already sitting there right on our plate? Our bodies are just remarkably designed. They have these defense systems that are constantly keeping tiny threats in check, day in and day out. And this emerging science is suggesting that what we choose to eat could be one of the simplest and yet most powerful ways we can support that internal fight. It really makes you think differently about your next meal, doesn't it?
Thank you for being here with me today. Remember, small choices create big changes. Keep nourishing your health with love and consistency. See you in the next Vital Elixir video.